All right, here is the third lesson in a series about how to improvise using modes. So this next mode we're going to talk about is the Mixolydian mode. So if we were in the key of G, we would have these different keys: A minor, B minor, C, and D. Now what we're doing for the Mixolydian mode is we're using the 5 chord, which is D major in this case, and the 4 chord. So using those 2 chords and the parts of the scales that work for those 2 chords in that progression is a great illustration of how the Mixolydian mode works. What we're actually going to do though is to make this like the other lessons. I'm going to make this from A to G. So we're actually in the key of D. So it'd be D, E minor, F sharp minor, G, and A. So we're using the A and the G just to kind of put it in the same place as the other lessons were involving modes. So our scale here is going to be what we would normally look at as our 4th position of the G major scales, or of the major scales. So that would be the D Mixolydian mode, and that would be in the key of G, where like I kind of teach everybody all the positions in that one key because they lay out well in the neck. Then of course you want to play in all the different keys and stuff. So what we're doing here is we're taking it to a different key, like I said, but we're going to be using that 4th position of our 5 positions. So once again, to give you a review of the 5 positions of G major. Okay, so it's that 4th position that we're talking about today. Dorian was the 2nd position, Aeolian was the 5th position, and this is the other kind of most commonly used mode. So this is going to be starting here. So it sounds weird because we switched keys. So here's going to be our progression. So it's got that kind of happy, like a major scale, but slightly bluesy, because if you look at this, a major scale would normally have the 7 here, but this one has that flat 7. So it's like, that's how we're in the key of D, but really we have an A tonal center, and G is kind of the special note now on the 2nd chord. So let's play those chords a little bit, just get used to that little rhythm, A to G. So let's look at that scale once again. Okay, now something you could do is also, you could do your major pentatonic for A. If you wanted to do something a little different to mix it up from the mode. But what we're looking at in the mode is, check out that major triad for A. Here's another one. Now when we switch to the G chord, it's kind of like these things all went down a couple frets. So you can do a little shifting back and forth and follow the chord shapes to play over the changes accurately. So one thing we'll look at is also, what if we started, instead of starting here in this next octave, we end up with 7, 9, 6, 7, 9, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10. So it's good to have different places where you start on the A, like up here, 12 on the G, 14, 12, 13, 15 twice. It's good to see those little full octaves of the modal scale. So here we go with a little loop of this. Very much like a Grateful Dead and Allman Brothers kind of a vibe. Like a happy vibe, but like, let's say, bluesy with the flat 7. So I'll do some soloing to give you some ideas here. You guys take it. Okay, so in these 3 lessons, we talked about 3 different modes: the Dorian mode, the Aeolian mode, and this one, the Mixolydian mode. So like I say, those are the 3, I would say, the most used modes. There's other modes that are way more jazzy and way more far out, and we'll get into those one of these days. But they're not used nearly as much unless you're playing really complicated stuff. So these are the easiest ones, and it's very easy to figure out whatever key you're in and pick a 2-chord thing, and you can really use these modes. So like I said, the Dorian mode is like if you're on the big string here, you could pick any key you wanted to be in, say F. We would have F minor or F minor 7. We would just go down to the 4 chord, and we'd play a dominant 7 or a major even. Dominant 7 kind of brings out, gets you more notes to play off of. So if we were in G, it'd be G minor and C7. And your scale would be this. And the important notes would be this one, part of that chord, and its lower octave. That's kind of your special note for that. Now, if we were talking about the Aeolian mode, that's the other minor mode. Say if we were up here in C with that one, we'd have that same minor 7 on top, and then we'd come down here, we'd need this one here instead of that one over here, that pinky there. We need this middle finger here to make this minor 7 off the F. And that scale looks like this. It's got that note in it that's different. Just like that one, that's the octave of that. So we got. With the special notes being here and here for this chord. Let's say we pick a tonal center for this Mixolydian, because you know the chord that we're playing first is not the key that we're in. Say if we're going to use the B and the A, that would be starting in the Mixolydian mode with this scale pattern here. With that that B chord, and it also has an A in it. That's the flat 7 that keeps it from being a normal major scale. Is that flat 7? That's the A. So B and A would be your chords. You'd really be in the key of E, because B is the 5th of E. Okay, so we're gonna have those two chords. You got your scale. And you want to know where your A's are. So say, like, for instance, here's B. Your A chord is down there, so it kind of... Important to see those triads in the Mixolydian mode. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little series on how to improvise with different modes. We had the Dorian mode, the Aeolian mode, and the Mixolydian mode. We'll get into more modes one of these days. And until then, you guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Let me know if you have any requests. Let me know in the comments where you guys are watching from. I always forget to ask. So cool. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot.